Hello again, I'm Coyote Jack, and man, looks like there is indications that probably the AI bubble, is finally gonna burst because we have seen how that news about how OpenAI is losing millions of money each day. That probably they are not going to be alive this year, and at this point, well, they were the ones that started it. And also, I hope Nvidia go out of business, but that one is very doubtful because at one certain point they can pivot back to develop the graphics card that they were doing in their main line. But at this point, I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah, just like that fucking piece of shit, that CEO, that of course he is living out to the name of Lex Luthor. He doesn't want you to own your hardware, and this news about Intel doing these movements. Well, Intel has been a dumpster fire for quite a while, especially they have been underperforming compared to AMD. But even despite that, I don't like when there is no competition, and this movement can jack up a lot of the prices, man. I think price hike is going to continue in the same way. So you're seeing this headline: we can't completely vacate the client's market, says Intel amid wafer supply shortages. Nova Lake still on track for late 2026 release. 14A in 2028. So this means that they are starting to abandon the consumer market because they want to build those PC that are dedicated for cloud-based because yeah, they really want to push the spyware dystopia. So you have this. Intel reconfirmed its commitment to the consumer market during its quarter four of the last year earnings, despite a heavy focus on wafer supply shortages and increasing demand from the data centers and AI market. So oh, we are still with you, your average Joe. Nah, it's fucking lies. We know how these companies are. The company is shifting its internal wafer supply to the DCAA, DCAI segment while relying on external wafer supply for CCG, client computer group. So yeah, the average consumer market, they are going to push this. They are going to shortage the supply for the consumer market in order to people all to AI to keep making that bubble bursting. So when it bursts, yes, Intel is not going to get scot free of this. That's for them sure. So responding to a question about weaker than expected DCAI outlook, David Seisner, chief financial officer at Intel, said, "We are shifting as much as we can over the data center, if not all entirely. We can't completely vacate the client market." Ah, yes. Yeah, this is what it is. The end goal is not owning your hardware. But man, nowadays we have seen a lot of those examples. Intel CEO Lip Bhutan also highlighted shortages affecting other areas, saying the industry is facing a very big challenge, the memory constraints and the pricing is all manufactured by design. Fucking Nvidia. And Nvidia invested heavily on Intel to make this happen. So Intel's focus on the last quarter of the last year was Panther Lake, now known as Core Ultra Series 3, which is set to arrive in market for customers on January 27, despite a big push for client. Intel says that its quote-unquote client CPU inventory is lean, and that rising component pricing could limit our client opportunity this year. But they are expecting to do that shit, man. We can see behind those lines. On the client front, Dan once again said that the next-gen Nova Lake desktop CPUs are on track for release in late 2026, where it will face off against AMD's upcoming Zen C CPUs, which are also expected later this year. Nova Lake will be the first desktop CPU to use Intel's 18A process. Its successor to 14A will enter risk production in late 2027 and full production in 2028. 28, says Stan. While it also shortens all hardware, man. Things are so bad that they are reviving DDR3 from the grave. And to my surprise, yeah, I have had already broken laptop. It's useless, but I still have those DDR3 RAMs. Oh man, I think even nowadays I never expected that that could actually be valuable at certain degree. But anyway, although Intel has technically shipped 18A, TAN is still recognizing yield shortfalls facing Intel's cutting edge node. I'm disappointed that I was not able to fully meet the demand of our markets. Ah, yeah, but that, yeah, like it's something that you want to get that money, but it's gonna burst and it's going to bite you in the ass. But well, I keep ranting. Let's continue with the text. Yields are in line with our internal plans, but they're still below where I want to be, the executive said. Tan said yields are improving for 18A month over month, targeting a 7 to 8% improvement each month. A pace that Intel hopes will refuse per unit pricing. Overall, Intel's quarter revenue was 13.7 billion, down 40% year over year. So yes, like I said it that Intel has not been a good position. Also, this company invested in DEI, and yeah, it doesn't help that the latest quote-unquote benchmark processors. Ah man, they were a clown show compared to what AMD was showcasing. But let's continue. For full year 2025, Intel is flat year over year. More interesting are the business units, please. For the consumer market, Intel posted 8.2 billion for quarter, which is down 7% year over year, dragging down CCG's year over year revenue for the full year of the last year by 3%. Although the DCAI business group represents about half of the revenue of the consumer is saw growth in the quarter four, which revenue of 4.7 billion for the quarter is up to 9% year over year. For the full year, DCAI revenue came in at 16.9 billion, which is up to 5% year over year. Yes, they're getting the benefit of this madness. So yeah, and this is the end point on all of this. They are going to keep jacking up the prices of everything, or even at one point, even possibly, if this bubble doesn't burst now, I think they keep dragging this to the rest of the year up to 2027. Man, it's just going to be insane seeing all of the price hikes for every single component. And if those companies, because it's expected when the bubble bursts, they are going to get fucked over with the production because they dumped all of that into AI, all of those processors, all of those graphics cards, all that memory RAM, and it's going to be rentless useless. Probably it's going to serve as a server and just split out every single thing. But also, let's take this into consideration that those data centers are not fully built, not entirely, and to host that shit, you know what could happen? Yes, that production is gonna be lost, all the revenue lost, and no way of resupplying the consumer market, man. At that point, maybe China is going to be the one stepping up because I heard that yeah, AMD processors are manufactured there too. So yes, you know what is going to happen? They are going to reverse engineering, or well, they already have the mold, they have already the architectures there, and they are going to resupply the Western market with their own at a cheap price compared to what well the brands we know they are doing at this point. Because yes, I don't like this because even if Intel is on a dumpster fire and well, my best laptop use AMD. You know what is going to happen when AMD is the only one in the market. Even also AMD is participating in the AI bubble, but I haven't heard doing that to the likes of Intel because remember, Intel got a heavy investment from Nvidia to push those processors into the AI bubble. So if even this is what puts the nail into if Intel's coffin, AMD at the moment, if they survive this, being the only one competitor also is going to keep at this stage where the processors, the components they produce, they are going to be in the same fucking over increased price that it is right now, if not even more, in the near future. Ah man, it's just kinda nasty. But that's all I wanted to cover up here for now. Thanks for watching and please take care.